So guys, these are the tools that we'll be using to achieve the bodice pattern. These are the measurements that I'll be working with: the shoulder, the bust point, length, bust circumference, and the waist circumference. So the shoulder is 15, the bust point is 11, the length is 17, then the bust circumference I'll be working with is 36, the waist circumference is 28. This pattern is on fold because I'll be cutting both the front and the back together. And this new line is our shoulder line. So after that, the first thing to cut is the chest line. So to get the chest line, you will divide your bust circumference by 6. Whatever it is, you add 1.5 inches to it. So here is 36 divided by 6, which is 6, plus 1.5 inches. Then what we have here is 7.5. So what we have, the 7.5 would be our chest line. So I measure 7.5 here. Then after that, I measure from the shoulder to the bust point, which is 11. And then we measure from the shoulder to the length of the bodice. So the length I'll be working with is 17 inches. So here I'll be adding just half an inch allowance to it, which is 17.5. So the next thing is to measure the shoulder. The shoulder I'm working with is 15 divided by 2, which is 7.5. So I'll measure my 7.5 here like this. And then I mark it. And then I measure another 7.5 here on the chest line like this. And then I connect the 2 points together. So on this shoulder line, I'll come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. And before that, you come here and measure 3 inches like this. And then you mark it. And then from here, you measure 1 inch down to create the shoulder slope. So I connect from here to this shoulder slope. I connect it together. I slant it like this. So that's the shoulder slope. So on this bust point, you measure from your nipple to nipple. So here the nipple to nipple measurement is 8 divided by 2, which is 4. So you mark 4 inches here like this. And then you measure same 4 inches on the waistline as well. So you connect this point and this point together. So to get the dart measurement, You come here on the waistline and then you measure just half inch on this side and half inch on this side, like this. And then you come down by 1 inch on the bust point. So you connect these points together like this. You connect this to this and then this to this. So here is the dart. So after that, you measure your bust circumference divided by 4. So you mark it here on the chest line like this, and then you add 1.5 inches allowance. I prefer to use 1.5 inches allowance. You can use 1 inch or 1.5 inches allowance. So plus 1.5 inches allowance. So you come down on the waistline. You divide your waist circumference by 4, which is 7.5. Sorry. And then you add this 1 inch for the dart because we are going to sew this one inside. So you add this 1 inch allowance to it, plus the 1 inch allowance for the dart, and then 1.5 inches allowance for the seam allowance. So on this waistline, you can either use 1 or 1.5 inches allowance as well. So this is the actual measurement, and then this is the allowance. So for the armhole, you find the midpoint of this from here to here. You find the midpoint of it, and then you mark it down. And after that, you come in from here inside like this by 1 inch. And then you use your curve ruler to connect it together. So this is for the front, and then for the back, so you just connect it straight like this. So this is for the back and this is for the front. So after that, we come to the neck area. So the standard measurement for medium large size is 3 by 3, and it also depends on how lower or how wider the person wants the neck area to be. But here we're just going to use the standard measurement, which is 3. So you mark 3 inches here, and then you go down as well by 3 inches. So this is for the front, and then for the back, I'll just go down by 1 inch. So this is the back. So I'm going to cut on the back measurement. And then I divide this into two. So before I separate the front and the back piece, I'm going to mark on the chest line, because we're going to use the chest line for this. We need a chest line to create the back dart. So I'm going to mark on the chest line like this. I cut the front piece as well. And then we set this aside. And on this back piece, I'm going to connect this point here like this for the chest line. So I measure the same 4 inches here as well. And then connect the points together. So for the back dart, I'm going to measure half an inch on the both side as well. And then I come down on the chest line by 1 inch. Remember, for the front piece, we come down on the bust point. But here for the back piece, we come down by on the chest line by 1 inch. So I connect these points together like we did for the front piece. So here on this waistline, on the zip side, remember we didn't add zip allowance for this back piece. So when you are placing it on the fabric, you make sure you add 1 inch zip allowance to it. Please don't forget that. So we didn't add zip allowance to it because this is a pattern paper. So if you are placing this on the fabric, make sure you add 1 inch allowance for the 1 inch zip allowance to it. So on this side, I'm going to come up by half an inch, because this is like a small size. If you are working on a medium or large size, you come up by 3/4 of an inch. But here is just you come up by half an inch. And then you connect it to this side, like you slant it to this side like this. So the reason we do this is to avoid when you add zip to the dress, so it doesn't have like this fold. This will make the zip to relax very well. So that's the advantage of adding this to your zip. So this is the front piece, and then this is the back piece. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you find this video very helpful, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.